Hello and welcome to today's video where I will be talking to you all about Slime Isekai Memories and giving you my thoughts and opinions on it. Now, if you enjoy the video, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Let me know your thoughts and opinions on it as well. And even add me on Slime Isekai Memories so then you and I could help each other build our towns. I will be going over that in a future video where I talk about population and building your city, and then I'll go into a little bit more detail about it. Other than that, make sure to let me know your thoughts on it and if you would like to see that video. But let's get on with the actual video itself. Here is the main menu where you'll see many of the things that you'll be using, obviously. There's the shop, interact, forge, recruit, home, companions, build nation, and quests. I'll be diving into these individually so then you all can understand them. And you can understand if, hey, that's a good feature. We'll be starting this video off with quests, which have 4 features. That being story, training, events, and requests. The story right now has 10 chapters, each with their own sub-quests and whatnot. As all quests do, this has 3 levels: beginner, normal, and expert. Beginner has all the quests alongside of the actual story, whereas normal and expert is just an increase to EP, which is just enemy power, essentially. After story, we have the training tab, which has 4 individual quests themselves, being Predator Battle, Level Up, Gold, and Ability Release. Now, the Predator Battle is something you use to increase your skills, which I'll go into more detail about when we get to the companion screen. And now these just give you certain things, and you don't need to grind this out as much as possible. Just do it for the dailies, because you will get these naturally through Predator battles and whatnot. You can also buy them from the shop. Next up is the Level Up quest, which give you magicules, and every difficulty you go up, more magicules you'll get. Now, you don't need to do this all that much, because just through playing the game, you'll get a lot of magicules, and through upgrading your nation, and even just upgrading certain companions. Thirdly, you have the gold coin quest, which just give you gold coins, and the more higher up the difficulty is, the more coins you'll get from the battle. So I do recommend doing this every now and then, just so then you can upgrade certain buildings in your nation, because it does require gold, but you don't need to sit there and just grind it out. Lastly, you have the most important one, in my opinion, and that is the ability release quest. And what this does, it gives you these things called magic stones, magic rocks, and magic blocks. And this helps you increase your character's abilities, which is very useful because it also makes your characters stronger. But I'll get into more detail about that once we get to the character companion screen. But definitely do this as much as you possibly can, just so then you can make sure you can upgrade your characters as much as possible. Now, after the training one, you have events, which they do change over time, aside from conquest, from my knowledge. So the ones that these do is they just mainly give you certain items, certain characters, and I do recommend doing them, but don't make it your main focus, except for right now, the Nation of Monsters. And that's just because you get Benimaru, and you get certain coins that you could spend in the shop, which is called the Bazaar shop. So definitely do that. These are a list of items that you can get right now, at least to the point where I'm at. So definitely do them. Just don't make it your primary focus until you get like a good team together. And that's just because there's certain challenges for it. So yeah. Next up, we have Conquest, which is the one that I am trying to get through and beat, because it is very difficult, and as of right now, I don't know if it's time sensitive or not, so I'm praying that it's not, because Conquest gives you specific attribute items, which if you equip it to certain characters, that character gets a boost. So let's take Flaming Domain right now. If you equip that robe to a fire user, it increases his defense a little bit more than, say, if you just put it to another character that's not a fire attribute. Now, it is very difficult, at least when you get to normal and higher. I have yet to beat any of the normals except for Soaring Winds and the Ravenous Chaos, and it's just super difficult. I might have beaten the Holy one, but I'm not sure. So definitely have a team and strategy prepared for this. You can YouTube that. So definitely give it a shot, but I recommend YouTubing a strategy for it. Now, after events, we have requests, and these are for your companions. And these companions are just, the storyline characters that, Rimuru meets throughout the entire anime and manga. Doing these aren't required or necessary, but they are super useful, especially for the potions that you get from them, as you could see here. Now, you do need companion levels to be a certain number, so for him, I need level 13. But I do highly recommend doing these, and you could only do each of them once, but they increase your bond level with them, which I will get into more detail once we get to the companion menu. Next up, we have Build Nation, and I do recommend you pay attention to doing this and upgrading your buildings. And this is because you get certain items such as potions, food to increase your bond, and the magic rocks and whatnot, all passively. And the reason why I say this is important is because this means you don't need to focus on certain things and grinding those certain things, such as getting a lot of food, or magic rocks, or magic fuels, though you should be focusing on getting magic rocks and whatnot. But population is very huge in upgrading these items, and that's just because it increases the amount you could produce and how much you could collect and other certain things that I'm not entirely sure on, but I know it does something else. Though, the reason why I was saying you need to get friends, though, in a lot of them, is that, as you'll see in a moment, once you click on the Direwolf House, request aid, and then you hit select all. It will give you a list of all your friends. If you hit select all, if you see on the left-hand side, it will show you the max time reduction, and that is 4 hours, and that is a very long time, especially once you get to the bigger upgrades. Sadly, you can only request aid from one of your friends each once per day, so there's that. So if you want to, you could just think of that strategically, do it for your longest one, but I highly recommend you build up your nation and your population. Next up, we have the companion screen, which will show you a lot of information, and I'll go over that, and I'll need to go into more detail just using a character. But this is where you will see your rarity, their levels. You could change the thing to where it shows their EP and other things such as assigning your troops. But there are two sections for this: battle character and protection characters. Now, battle characters, really straightforward. They're the ones that do the damage, they're the ones who are on the field fighting, and they should be your main focus. But protection characters assist that. And I'll go into more detail whenever I show you an actual fight and describe them a little bit more in detail. Now, this is something that I think this game does fantastically, and that is you don't need to get a 5-star, you don't need a 6-star. I'll go into more detail once I click on a character, but if you get a duplicate of that character, you upgrade it through awakenings, and those awakenings, after you get 5, it increases in 1-star rarities, and combining that with equipment and all the ability releases, they are all on equal footing for the most part, so it's not really pay to win, at least in my opinion. I am completely free to play, by the way, so this is coming from that perspective. So definitely wish more games would do this. It is a fantastic thing, and I really like it about this game. Alright, now let's check out individual characters and what their screens look like. And we're going to start with Shuna, who is completely maxed. As you can see on this screen, it displays all her stats and equipment and what her output thing is. And that she is maxed out. It shows her attribute. It shows what type of damage she deals, which is magic. And I kind of slip of the finger here, swiped on the arrows, but it's very useful. It also shows her EP, current EP. I do believe that includes her equipment. So this screen displays a lot of information. Now we'll be going on to showing you what the level up looks like, which since she's completely maxed out, I can't go up any levels. Her ability release, which uses the magic rocks. You need to be level 100 to max this out. But what this does is it increases damage output for your ult, and it also increases your EP, as I stated earlier. So it's very useful to get these maxed out as soon as possible, because it will help your chances in other types of fights. Now, moving on to someone who isn't maxed out. So for me, it will be training I'll be using. See, the same thing as you did on a maxed out character. But if you go to level up, she's maxed out for her awakening level. But when I awaken her one more time, that level will increase, and I could then level her up again. And then her ability release, once I get to that screen, will not be maxed out because I need to be level 100 for it. It's pretty close, but it's not there. So I do recommend you making sure that you can get duplicates of these characters. Duplicates are fantastic in this game, and I think they did it right. And here is the skill enhancement visual. I don't know what it's called. And this is where you can enhance your skills, and that will increase whatever they do by percentage. And maxing these out is very useful, and each character will need a different amount of awakening stones as well. So for a common character, so a 3-star, once you get to this rank, once you rank up that character, they will need 5. I don't have any past that point, but it's very useful to get duplicates, and it's something I think they did right in this game, is making duplicates have a point and making it matter in fights. All right, now I'm going to show you what a fight looks like. So I'll be using the flame domain type of fights, which is Ifrit. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but this is the actual screen that you'll be seeing. So you'll be seeing optimize, equip, parallel processing, and move out. Parallel processing only works on all but like a handful, such as events and the predator domain battles. So if you look on the left, you could optimize certain things about the fights in your assigned party all automatically. There's a bunch. It's all straightforward. And you could do the same for your equipment. Moving on, if you look at the top right side of your screen, you get the info screen about drops and even the fight that you're about to see, so boss. And this shows you different stats of the boss and their drop rates and all of that stuff. Now let's talk battle UI. On the left-hand side of your screen, you see Great Sage, and then underneath of that has your protection character and your skills. Your protection character has an ability that activates immediately right when the battle starts, and there's a time limit for that. But if you click the activate protection thing, it will show you all of your protection characters' stats and skills that will happen when you activate it after a certain amount of time. It does have a bar that you need to fill through fighting and combos and all that. Kind of works like you need to get X amount of mana for it. Now, if you look at the bottom of your screen, you see a bunch of different colors: orange, blue, and green. If you click on orange, you get the most amount of skill bonus to it. So if you saw the bar underneath Shuna's health bar, that's your secret skill, your alt. And then if you use your skills, that's what it looks like. You do need to get a certain amount of points for it to activate certain ones. If you want more information about that, go to your skill tab. Now in the upper right, you have speed, auto, settings, and switch characters. Speed, straightforward, increases the speed of the battle. Auto, don't need to touch the thing. Settings, it's your settings. And then switch characters, you can do twice per round from my knowledge. And yeah, I use it often whenever I'm fighting a higher level character. But your bar on the bottom, which is with your bunch of characters, attention to it, because if you have oranges, you want to use those oranges as much as possible if you can get into over a 3 combo with them, 2 or 3 combo with them. And that's just because it builds up your alt gauge, which if you look underneath Ashuna to the right, it will show you. And your unique skill or your secret skill is pretty much your alt. So I'm using Shuna for a 4-hit combo, which I'll go into more detail about. 4-hit combos, you get about 115 to 120 increase of power, percent of power. And then a 5-hit, which is called a Savage, Savage, I do believe, combo, will give you about 150% increase to damage. And then 200%, which is very rare, but I actually got 3 of them against the Ravenous Chaos fight, will give you 200% increase to damage. As you just saw, I had 2 of all colors, so I switched my my oranges into blues just so that I could get a higher damage, but that's just because I didn't have that color. So I didn't have the color to switch blues to oranges or greens to oranges for these characters that I had out. I didn't think of switching, but oh well. Now you can see another 4-hit combo. Now, This doesn't increase your skill gauge as much as orange, even though it says that it increases it at a certain amount. It doesn't do it as much. So definitely try and get as many oranges as possible, but you never know. Now from here, I have 4 greens, 1 blue, and 1 orange. I do switch the orange, I do believe, I'm not 100% sure, into a green, which I'm able to do. I actually don't do that. I don't have enough skill points, as you see on the left-hand side. I need a certain amount, and yeah, you got to pay attention to that. It's something I didn't do. So I get a 4-hit combo for green. Sadly, I can't get a 5. I can't show you that today, most likely. But my Shuna on the right should now have an ultimate, so I get to use that. And he just used his. That's one of his abilities. He can increase his skill gauge. Ooh, and now I could possibly show... Yes, I could actually show you a 6-hit combo here. A 6-hit combo is very difficult for me to get. It's very rare, even though I got super lucky against the Ravenous Chaos. This does a lot of damage, especially if you can hit him with something that's super effective. So for him, it would be a water type attribute. I don't have that on my team. And then I also get to show you Shuna's ultimate, which is... This one is actually one of my favorites. But if you see her ultimate gauge, it has an arrow pointing straight forward. That means it is a single hit. If it has 3 arrows coming from the circle, it is an AoE, essentially. What fights look like, they are very straightforward once you get a handle of them. For the most part, I was using auto in the very beginning, and then once I started getting to like the higher tiered fights, I had to turn off auto, but that's just because the AI isn't as smart as you think it is, sadly. So definitely try and do it on your own. Thank you so much for watching. Remember, if you enjoyed, subscribe, like, and comment. And also give me any and all constructive criticism and feedback about this video. I am always working to improve my content as much as possible. Definitely going to work on the commentary a little bit more. But as always, thank you for watching. And also check out my Twitch, TikTok, and my Discord. I do watch parties now in my Discord, so I'd love to have y'all in there talking to me about your anime, favorite anime, all of that stuff. All of it will be linked down below in the description, and if you want, I could also put in a pinned comment. But other than that, make sure to stay safe, stay hydrated, tell someone you love and care about them, and I hope to see you all again. Other than that, have a fantastic rest of your day, week, or month.